Hey guys, my video stopped. Someone called me on my phone and it stopped the video. But what I was saying is that I hope you read this and find it something powerful to think about and chew on, as we like to say. Um, just think about what he's talking about and what he means. Okay, so I told you that this next piece is the open boat, which you're reading on your own. But one thing I wanted to point out to you is the subtitle here about the open boat, and it says, "A tale intended to be after the fact, being the experience of four men from the sunk steamer Commodore." So the subtitle here that's important tells us that a ship has already gone under, right? We're told it sunk in this subtitle, but that's all he gives us. We don't know who these men are yet or anything. The very first line says of the short story, "None of them knew the color of the sky." I find this to be such a brilliant opening line, because even though we don't know who they are, I mean, we have a pronoun them, and you guys remember in grammar when you talk about pronoun antecedent, there's no antecedent here. We don't know if it's Bob, Tim, who it is, who these people are. It could be women, it could be, what is it? None of them knew the color of the sky. The only thing we know from the subtitle is that they're four men, right? But none of them knew the color of the sky. When this starts, however, we don't have a clue who the people are that he's referring to. But what we do know is that none of them know. That's interesting. That verb knew is essential. Here's where grammar comes into play, all of you English people. This is where it's really interesting to know your grammar, because this verb knew is talking about knowing. And all four of these men, we will find out this is who we're talking about, but none of them knew something very basic, it would seem to me, the color of the sky. None of them knew the color of the sky. Even things we take for granted, even though, as I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, how complicated it is. When Psalm asked me, "Mom, is the sky blue?" That's kind of a complicated answer if you want to get into it. We can easily say, yeah, it's blue, sure. None of them knew the color of the sky, because things are a little more complicated than that. So right from the beginning, Crane leads strong with this short story in this first sentence that is helping us understand that this is going to be about understanding, and this is going to be about what we know to be true. I'm going to let you go from there, but don't overlook that first line. I do want to go with you to a section that I thought was interesting. In part 4, on page 1774, it's just a couple of paragraphs in, the largest paragraph from the top that starts, "Then they briefly exchanged." If you'll notice, about 5 lines down, there's a sentence that says, if you want to underline it with me, that would be uber great. "If this old ninny woman, Fate, cannot do better than this, she should be deprived of the management of men's fortunes. She's an old hen who knows not her intention. If she has decided to drown me, why did she not do it in the beginning and save me all this trouble? The whole affair is absurd." So here we have, remember I just read you what naturalism was going to deal with, this whole idea of what fate is, and that we fall victim or prey to it. Don't forget, the man said to the universe. So if you believe in fate, if you believe in the master plan or master creator, what they're asking here is, why would I have to go through this? What is the purpose behind what I'm having to endure? And if the whole thing, if I'm going to drown in the end, why am I surviving to now? Why am I having to struggle to the very end of it all? Is anybody hearing me right now? But there's this depiction that starts basically on 1775 and goes over to 1777, basically to the end of this unit, to this section 4. And it's about how they're trying to get the attention of people on the shore so they can send them help. Please don't underestimate the lines that you're reading. I mean, they see, their perspective is somebody's trying to point them. Read this section very carefully. Someone's trying to point them to help. That's how they see it. But on the other end of things, you see that these people are just kind of living their lives. We're not even certain that they actually see them out there stranded in the middle of the water. We're not sure what they know. Hear that again? Here we go with no. Well, the reason why I point this section of the short story out to you prior to even, discussing the rest of it with you, or maybe you haven't even read it yet, I don't know, is that this is a very famous piece. I mean, you'll go into English classes, lit classes, and they will make reference to the open boat because this is extremely important. You have this juxtaposition of these people who are out in the middle of the water, they can't get to shore, and they're in desperate circumstances. As time goes by, they know they're going to die. They are literally going to sink or swim. And many of us find ourselves in sink or swim situations in life, don't we? And then the decisions, why are we there? What is the purpose in this? And then the decisions that we actually make. As you'll see, these four men make a risky decision to try to save themselves. All right. Well, anyway, in this section of the book, there's this juxtaposition of these people out in the middle of the water who can't come in, and they are desperate, so desperate. And they see these people on the shore that are safe. We find out later, there are people that picnic up there. There's this omnibus that's going on. The people in the boat perceive things in the way they want to perceive them. They think the guy's waving at them with his jacket. They think the bus is actually a lifeboat that can come save them. And really, Crane is discussing how we see what we want to see, and sometimes we don't see reality. Is anybody hearing me right now? And also, I've got to say, I mentioned this on your essay option when you read the open book, but there's a lot to be said here of people who are in stable moments of their life. They're just having a massive vacay out there on the shores. They're just having a blast, just totally oblivious